you're cooked, you're done. Like
that was the inner critic.
Right? That was the inner critic. Like, you'll never sing again, kid. My voice and my diaphragm felt so foreign to me that it was triggering these messages of like, well, I don't know if this is what you're cut out to do anymore.
Hey friends, welcome to the Sour Notes podcast, the podcast where musicians get curious about their inner critic, self-doubt, and the darker side of the creative process that we don't often hear about. I'm your host, Roxanne Potvin. I'm a singer-songwriter and a lifetime sufferer of my own inner noise. And every other week, I invite artists to share their stories and insights on this somewhat inconvenient reality. Our guest today is Aphrose, a Toronto-based soul music songwriter and singer, whose album Roses was nominated for a JUNO Award in 2025. Aphrose, aka Joanna Mohammed, talks about the pressures of navigating the industry as an independent artist, all while becoming a mom in the midst of a global pandemic in 2020, and the massive shifts brought on by this new role. Hey Aphrose, how are you today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome to the Sour Notes podcast. It's so nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you after so many years.
Yes, it has been quite a few. Aphrose, just to situate our listeners a little bit, sang backup vocals for quite a few years, actually, in my live band. And so it's really nice to reconnect because it's been a little while.
It's been a while, and those were some fun times.
Yeah, they really were. Yeah. Tell us a little bit, what was the defining moment that made you want to become a musician?
I think I have always known that I wanted to pursue music from a little person, a little girl. So there was never really, I guess, a particular moment. I think it was just like moments. If you ever asked me as a kid, like what I wanted to do, I would always be like, I want to be a singer. So like I would always sing. And then I just once I started formally taking lessons, I think that kind of sparked something in me. And I was just like, I really love this. And then in school, like especially high school, I was in a lot of like the bands and the choirs. And I didn't even go to an art school, to be honest. It just had a really good music program.
Good.
And that's kind of like, I had a music teacher say to me, so what are you thinking of doing after high school? Like, do you want to go into music post-secondary? And I was just like, I don't know. What are my options? And the options were, either classical or jazz. And jazz, I was just like, that is so closely tied to the music that I really love, which is like soul and gospel. And it is like the roots of popular music, right? So there was a jazz program at Humber in Toronto, Humber College. And my teacher was like, you should apply for that program. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's really, so if we want to maybe a long-winded way of getting to the point of the question, but like, I guess maybe that could be the pivotal moment of going to Humber, just to kind of, even though my time there, it's like, it's a bittersweet kind of
is it?
Feeling, just because, I feel like when music is institutionalized, it can lose a bit of its magic, maybe, and it becomes like just like impersonal. Like it just like you're learning like all these scales and all these rudiments and all these things, and it's just kind of like it's
loses a little bit of its instinctive kind of feeling, maybe?
So you kind of have to like, it's like you take what you can get from that and learn and then unlearn. Because like, right. You want to stay yourself. You want to learn who you are.
Right.
As an artist too. Which I think was hard to access, or especially during my time there, because you're inspired by by jazz, obviously, but I really kind of found my footing as a writer, like after I graduated. And because I found some old MP3 like demos
Ooh,
of
fun.
stuff that I did like during maybe my last 2 years of Humber and into like maybe the first 2 years out of Humber. And oh my gosh, Rox, like, it was so I was like, why are there so many chords in this song?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's too many chords.
Well,
Like,
we all
what?
have to suck at
Yeah.
first, right?
It's like, it sucks, but like in such a like a jazz school. I was like, oh my God, this is like jazz school. Like I would never write like that now, you know? So it's just kind of like, as I said, like the learning and then the unlearning and just kind of figuring out, okay, what's my happy medium here? Like, what am I trying to say with my art? Yeah, it's such a fine thing. I think the biggest thing that I got out of a program like Humber's was just the network of people that I became friends with and that I met and that are now huge parts of my project, and they're good friends of mine. So like we grew together, and it introduced me to so many creatives that are so that's the biggest takeaway for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was curious to know, actually, has the subject of inner critic or self-doubt or, identity, like the more psychological side of music making, has that ever come up at Humber? A previous guest was wondering, like, do they talk about that?
Oh God, no.
No, eh?
No.
Wouldn't that be good?
You make a very good point. I to be honest with you, I don't know if like a place like Humber is maybe now implementing some of that mental health aspect of things. It should. It's very possible. It's very possible that they do touch on that, but they didn't during my time
Not
there.
back when you were there.
Oh God, no.
No.
But it's so intertwined into the work we do.
Isn't it?
That we need to have resources, like or just a safe space to talk, right? Like it's
there are no psychologists or people that you can go talk to if you're struggling.
There are like on campus, but if whether or not they understand the nature of the work that we do, that's another question. Because what we do, like, sure, the anxiety and the depression or whatever, and the mental health stuff are the same sort of like symptoms, but I think our triggers are so different when we're creatives that it's just like you would need someone that really understands this world to get on your level and really like get you.
Yes.
Personally, I've had a few sessions with some therapists, and while they were good, like they're never bad, but it's just like they were never with someone that like understood our work.
Really knew where you're coming from.
Yeah. And maybe that is something we should collectively as creatives maybe like work towards, like having some sort of, I'm sure there are therapists that exist that, there's the musicians clinic in Toronto, right? Out of, what is it? Toronto Western or?
I don't know. I'm not aware of them.
Yeah. And it's great. And I have friends that access that. So, I mean, there are resources. I guess I haven't personally reached out to that clinic yet, but maybe I should. I don't know.
Hey, we could all benefit from some mental health help.
Absolutely.
Honestly, especially in a field like this, because you can't separate the person you are from the musician you are.
100%.
When would you say in your creative journey that you started sort of having run-ins with your inner critic and like, it interfering maybe with your process? Or do you have a sense of like when you started noticing it or how it was affecting you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I struggle with this all the time, to be completely honest. I think I ride waves of like feeling like I don't know what I'm doing. And I really started out, in 2017, like cold emailing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like I was just kind of like, everything felt so daunting. Like the business side of it, and like, how do I like promote myself? How do I market myself? How do I do all these things that like everyone else seems to be doing really well?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have whole teams built around them, and some of them have even labels that help sort of develop them and support them. And I was just like completely independent, like very little budget, all of that, and just kind of like trying to figure out, I'm like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Like, I don't know if I'm. And then when I had some success with, a grant here and there. And then that led to the first album that I put out. And to be honest, like after I put out the first album, that was in 2019. And in 2019, I also found out that I was pregnant. So I was really just worried about whether or not I could even pursue or just do music. And I had so much fear that I would lose that part of my identity when I became a mom. And to be honest, like when I did become a mom, it was like 2020. We were in lockdown. Like it was just a crazy, crazy time. And I think that I had like I had postpartum anxiety and just feeling like I'm like, I don't know who I am. Like I don't know how I'm going to do music. Even my voice, like I couldn't like recognize my voice. Like I remember singing to my my daughter when she was just like a newborn, singing to her and like forgetting lyrics that I knew in my brain, but I was just like, what the heck? Like I'm like trying to sing a Stevie Wonder song to my daughter, and something that I've sung a million times, but like I was forgetting, and I was just like, and that would like trigger my anxiety. And then even just my physical, the way I felt inside of my body, like my diaphragm was just like everything was internally shifted in there. So I was like, even breathing after, like, so when I was about to give birth, you just feel so like there's nowhere to go. Like it's hard to breathe. And then when I gave birth, it's just like I had all this space now, and these muscles had to find their way back to like functioning like how they did. And so it affects your diaphragm. And as a singer, I really like noticed it, because I mean, I guess people that don't sing, like they wouldn't necessarily pick up on that, but I definitely did. And I was just like, oh man, I would take a breath in and it would feel like just like empty space. Like it was the strangest thing. It felt like empty space.
Wow. That is so interesting. Because I've never heard anyone talk about that, but it totally makes sense that like a human being just grew inside of you, and like the part of your body that you use arguably the most after your vocal cords is like your core and all those muscles, right? Yeah. Oh my God, that must have been really scary for a little while.
It was because it truly, and again, like the anxiety piece of it was just like, you're cooked, you're done. Like
that was the inner critic.
Right? That was the inner critic. Like, you'll never sing again, kid. Like, I was just like, oh God, like what I feel like something that I became so masterful over, which is like my voice and my diaphragm, felt so foreign to me inside of my body, that it was triggering these messages of like, well, I don't know if this is what you're cut out to do anymore. And then I remember, just there were some grant deadlines that were coming around, and I went for them. I didn't feel like I had a chance, to be completely honest with you. I was just like, I don't know. But it was kind of like a distraction for me to do a little demo thing and like get some stuff together and apply, because in the thick of like new parenthood, that was my like little light at the end of the tunnel of sleep deprivation. I was just like all over the place, and I was like, okay, well, this I know for sure I can like do. And I was successful with those grants that I
Wow.
applied for, like all of them, which was crazy. And that was kind of like the sign I needed to say, no, Joanna, that's me as
Yeah.
well. You can do this. You can do this. And now you have to do it.
Right. Now you're
Right?
contractually obligated.
Yeah, exactly.
That's beautiful. I love that story.
Yeah,
Yeah, and what encouragement that must have been after
it was.
struggling with those thoughts, that are
Yeah, it's funny though, like how prior to having a kid, like the inner critic was like directed at my creativity, and that like and not that I don't have that now, but I think it kind of like morphed into identity issues like when I became a mom, and then like music, the creative part was the saving grace. So
yeah.
it's just like it kind of pulled me through in a way, and it flipped in a way almost, and it was just like, okay, no, just create from the heart. Like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just like creating. And I think the stuff that was written in that period of time is it's definitely my most like honest stuff to date,
Mm-hmm.
because I was in it. I was like in that like shit storm of
Yeah.
everything we were in
All of
and
it.
yeah, 2020, 2021, like it was just all of it.
You said that your inner critic prior to that would have been around your creativity or your writing, maybe. So what would be some ways that you would just kind of surmount those moments where you felt doubt or unsure?
So for me, I think especially with that first album, compiling songs, writing songs, and you can even hear it when you listen to that first album. It's kind of, it's rough around the edges. I was experimenting. I was kind of like figuring out what my sound was. But my whole thing, or where my inner critic really reared its ugly head, was in the studio. So when I like, because I'm very much a live singer.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing live stuff. I never really sing the same thing the same way. It's just like, but in the studio, it's so microscopic. And I really struggled with that, especially with the first album, because I was approaching the recording sessions vocally. I was kind of approaching it like a live session, which you can do. It felt foreign to me. It felt so weird. Even though I had done it many times before, I still
Wasn't your comfort zone.
it wasn't my comfort
Yeah.
zone. I couldn't hack it. Like I just couldn't figure out how to approach the studio, and it would like I would listen back to takes, and I remember learning how to like comp vocal takes and stuff like that, because I just didn't want to subject my producer to that. I'm like, I'm so critical. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Let me
like,
do
no,
it myself.
just let me do it and like
Yeah.
live in my own vocal misery, please. And so I remember learning how to do it. And so I did all the vocal comps for that album. And I did it actually, I think, for this new one too. But this new one it's like I approached it differently. I was just like, okay, it taught me how to like approach the recording studio environment vocally in a way that works. And then I guess the way I overcame it in a bit, because I don't think I have fully, but
Yeah.
is that like with this new record, I was just like, okay, we're going to try to approach these lines, the dynamic of the song, like, differently. Like, you're not going to sing it the way you would sing it live. You're going to be more gentle with it. You're going to be more delicate with it. You're going to show a different side of your voice. And that's kind of what resulted. I mean, there are some songs on the album, on the latest album, where I am singing out more, but a lot of the songs are a lot more like subdued. And I think like that was the learning curve for me. And I'm still learning. Like, I'm always, again, like, I think in the live, as I said, like I thrive a little bit more in the live setting, because once you do it, it's done. You don't have to think about it. I'm not watching those videos back. Like, sure, tag me, I'll repost it, but I won't listen. Like, it's just like, I'm just kind of like, it's a moment in time, and I'm more forgiving of myself vocally. And I also find that I just, like, when it's live, I just go into a different, like, headspace. Whereas, again, going back to the recording thing, it's just like I'm always critical about how I'm laying things down. And I don't know if I'm ever like, yeah, that was an accurate capture of my vocal ability. I don't think I've ever felt that way.
So when you're in the studio, you fall into overthinking, whereas on stage, you don't overthink because it's just live in the moment.
Yes. I love it. I love the creative process and stuff like that, but the studio freaking scares me. And it's just like, because it's forever,
It's there and it's frozen in time. And
it's frozen in time.
You really want to get it right, and you want to get it and be happy with it afterwards, right? So of course,
exactly,
it's like a breeding ground for, second guessing.
And I don't know, I'm sure you experience this as well. Like, even if you come to a good place with like the edit, you're still listening with such critical ears. Like, I can't, people, I remember having this conversation not too long ago where, like, I don't know who said this to me. They're like, do you listen to your album? Like, I'm like, no.
Lovingly.
Yeah. And just like every now and then.
Yeah.
I'll listen to a song, or very seldomly do I do it front to back. But like, oh my gosh, no. Like, there's no way, because I know all the places. Like, I know all the places that I'm just like, ugh. Like, I really wish I didn't have that inner critical voice just coming out anytime. Like, I struggle with that. It's really hard for me to just like not be critical.
Yes. Because you have high standards.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, I could do it better. And you're just like, just chill. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. It is a super hard thing to balance. I think it just comes with the territory, because we all want to make the best work we can. But at the same time, you can dig yourself into a hole doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to let it go at some point.
You do.
Yeah.
You must. I feel like I'm a lot better with it now. The critic is still there, don't get me wrong, but it's not as in my face as it used to be. And I'm grateful for that. And I think it's because maybe now when I go to a session or whatever, I'm just kind of like, let's just have fun with it. Let's just see what comes out. Let's experiment a little bit. Like, I almost use recording now as an experimentation tool.
Right.
Yeah. If I keep the mindset that this is kind of like an experimentation, it gets me out of that critical part of my brain.
You go into the creative part of your brain instead of staying stuck in the...
Yeah.
Right? You're like, okay, well, let's make something with this then.
Yeah.
That I would say, arguably, that's a really good technique to get out of the critical part. Because what I've observed is that the critical part is the overthinking part, is the part that disconnects you from your creativity.
Absolutely.
It's the part that
Absolutely.
disconnects you from your instincts, from your
Yes.
intuition. And the creative part is all of those things. It's your instinct, it's your intuition, it's your feeling in the flow, not thinking, like beyond thinking at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Would you attribute that just simply to having more confidence in your skills, just having done it,
Yeah.
being a little bit more used to it?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't scare me as much as before,
Right.
but it's still scary. And I would also stress that having a good sort of like team around you or a person like producer, even if you are co-producing, but like I find with my friend and producer and co-writer Scott specifically, he really understands me as not only a person, but as a creative and as a vocalist. So I feel 100% comfortable because he's there and it's just like he gets me. Whereas like I might do a session with someone else that's producing and then I get in my head because like it's just not what I'm used to with Scott. We've kind of built a vibe, with each other. And like he kind of has a way of knowing how to like break me out of like the just overthinking part of I don't know. He's just a really great collaborator and someone that has really helped shape what the Aphrose sound is, like it's both of our creative inputs. And I think that sort of team effort too has helped me not be so much in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the reassurance of having someone there that you collaborate well with. It just makes me think. I'm just kind of learning as I'm having these discussions with different musicians, and it seems to me that comfort level is so important. Feeling safe is so important to be able to access the creative part
Yes.
of ourselves. Um,
Yes.
and I'm also interested in the how do we talk to ourselves? So, like, the critic tends to be a very harsh way of talking to ourselves. Obviously, it's just mean and nasty. And I wonder, is there a way that for yourself to play the role that Scott plays with you? Like, it seems that Scott is like a reassuring presence in those moments for you. And
Yeah.
I wonder, is there a way that you find that you're able to give that reassurance to yourself as well?
Ooh.
It's hard. It's harder.
It's hard. It's harder. It's harder because we're so critical of ourselves and we shell up. Like I had a writing session with a friend of mine yesterday, not Scott.
Mhm.
But I'd never written with this person before. And I definitely was in my head. Like, I was just like, oh God, like, I don't know. What do I want to say? I don't know. Like, I had no sort of like writing rapport with this person to date. So it just felt so like vulnerable and so like, so different than to what I'm used to with Scott and with Heather and like just like the people that I normally write with. And I think to get through it, I just kind of like had to remind myself that I wasn't new to this. I'm just like, okay, Joanna, you know how to write a song or write some lyrics. Like, don't like it's not that deep. It's
Just do
not
the
that
thing.
deep. Just like do the thing. Like, so I guess like maybe that's like the answer to that question. But it was hard for me. Like I don't because I could feel myself starting to shell up.
Yeah.
So I guess I had to just kind of like tell myself to chill and like not take it so seriously and just to kind of I'm like another thing that I told myself was just like you this could be something that you use or not.
Yeah. Take the pressure off.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
And it's not the end of the world if you're not able to contribute something. And I'm sure you will, because you're a creative person.
Yes.
So
trusting ourselves in the
trust
moment.
yourselves in the moment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's hard sometimes when you feel like your brain is just hijacking you. But
yes.
Yeah, but that really is what it comes down to. And like, let's talk about it more amongst ourselves, you know, because we're all just kind of doing the thing and then not really getting into that too much, you know.
Yeah.
Even in our private conversations, like, I don't know about you, but like,
yeah,
I wasn't talking about it too much. I mean, a little bit here and there, but I didn't feel like a lot of people, I don't know, it was, I guess, a while ago, but for me, it was so intense that I felt like it was a little too intense to talk about. And then I didn't feel like people really related to like the intensity at which I was feeling that.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're steering the ship, it's hard to understand. Like, I think when you're an artist and you're like the face of this project, or we might not have tons of like artists that lead their projects, like tons of those friends. So like I find I talk about it sometimes, but we also don't want to be a bore.
Yeah, we don't want to be a bummer,
like a drag.
Right?
Yeah,
totally. I know, eh? Yeah. So let's be a drag on this podcast.
Sure. I'm like, here for it.
Fully be a drag.
Let's do it.
Did you ever have like a full-on creative block where like you weren't able to create, or you didn't even want to, or anything like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say like the last 2 years, to be honest, last 2-3, like I'm only now starting to write again.
Yeah.
I also, just a little sidebar, like I also went through a really shitty experience with some like management.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That didn't last very long, but it delayed things with the album coming out. But like, it knocked me off my game so hard, and it like made something that it was supposed to be like a joyful release, you know, into the world, like this thing that I worked so hard on in my postpartum. It was so clouded by what had happened with my ex-management that I don't know, it stifled my creativity a bit. But also rolling out an album, it just makes your brain, you have no capacity for creativity.
Yes. Do you find that, because I used to be like this, like I needed a complete clear slate in order to be able to write. Like it's a completely different mind focus.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I was promoting an album or on tour or after an album came out, there was no writing. None.
Oh gosh.
But some artists are able to do that. Like, oh yeah, I wrote a song on the tour bus, and like I'm like, how? Like, yeah. I need to be at home, nothing going on for months.
Yeah.
for my brain to just really be able to go into that zone. How is that for you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm like you. Cuz when I released the latest album, it was like the end of 2023. So it was like October. So, you know, 2024 was just around the bend. So I spent like all of 2024 promoting it. I, you know, went to England. I did a couple things out there, and then just recently with the JUNO nom, that like kind of gave the album another like life almost, and some other legs. Like, so I was like, oh, okay, here we go again.
Start up the machine.
Yeah, right? So it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I had little pockets of time last summer where I got together with Scott, who I do like pretty much everything with. And we got a song written, but like I wasn't in that like mode. I only now feel like I'm like in a mode of creativity where I'm like, I have the space and the capacity to just like think creatively, because when you're thinking like business, marketing,
It's your
like
other brain.
it's your other brain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I respect artists that can do both. I just don't think I'm not cut out for that.
Yeah. That wouldn't be attributed to your inner critic, really. It wouldn't be like, oh, I suck and I don't have anything to say, or would it? Like, do you criticize yourself for not writing enough?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
you do. Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like, I think about the frequency that I would write before, and I'm like saying before, like, I guess in the times that I was like newly postpartum, but definitely before I had a kid, I could really get in the zone, like in that creative, and now it's just like it's such a struggle to even, because my schedule is like, I mean, I'm sure I could block a week and just like go somewhere and write at a cottage or something. But then it's just like, I then have guilt because I'm like, I have a kid and I'm sure they will be taken care of. But there's that mom guilt. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of different things that like I feel I struggle with ever since I became a mom. But yeah, I definitely like feel like I criticize myself for not writing, like not writing enough or not writing at all. Like, but I haven't been writing at home.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
It just completely changes your whole life, not only the birth, not only physically, it just changes your whole focus, your whole ability to have time
Yes.
and all that. So that would
Yeah.
be a lot to figure out how to change into this new person and like bring
Yeah.
your creativity with you, right?
It's a struggle. It's a
Yeah.
constant sort of battle. And I don't really know if there will be, if I'll ever figure it out, to be completely honest with you. But I'm just so grateful for that last album that I put out that showed me that I could do it. It just takes maybe a little bit more planning than I used to do. So like yeah, before I even when I had just given birth and I was writing for this album, the schedule was different. When you have a baby, like yes, they have needs and you're around the clock, but they do a lot of sleeping, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember doing writing when, I would write a song or whatever, like baby's like taking a nap or sleeping, and I'll pen a song or whatever. But now it's just like I'm exhausted. I'm just exhausted. And I can't even tell you the last time I like sat down at my keyboard and just like, and I know I can do it. I think when I get my kid down for bed, I just want to veg.
Yes.
I'm done.
Understandably.
I'm done for the day.
Yes.
So before I would, like have this energy to sit at the keyboard at the end of a workday, and I would just like go for hours, and I would create and I'd write, and then I'd look at the clock and it'd be like 1 a.m. Like shit, gotta go to bed. But like now I'm just like in bed at 10:30.
Yeah. Just need to.
I need to, because I'm just, so just trying to figure out, I'm like, it's changed, like, and just adapting to the reality of what my life is now and figuring out how to make it work. I guess I'm just like figuring it out, to be honest. And I'm not like sad about it. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm seeing it as
Mm-hmm.
a challenge that I will conquer.
Yes. Good. Let's have some positive reinforcement in there.
Yes.
What would you say is the most challenging for you operating as an artist within the framework of the music industry?
Oh my gosh. Well, I currently self-manage, and I have
Mm-hmm.
historically done like self-manage for a while. Barring that brief crappy
Yeah.
management thing. So I think that's it. Like just having to know it all, do it all. I'm expected to just like, I don't know, create like social media content out the wazoo, like 24/7. And I'm like, I have no time. I try my best, like I think so much, the biggest challenge is like so much of what we do is now like it's an online thing. Yes, we play shows and stuff like that, but it's just like so much of our world exists online and we're just expected to kind of like know how to do this shit. And it's just like, especially like digital marketing, what a foreign concept that is, running ads, like what?
Yeah.
Shit like that, where you're just like, okay, well, I clearly don't know how to do this shit. So I'm going to hire someone that knows how to do that. And just like, you're just kind of like trying to hold it all together and like and make this thing run smoothly, but I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I feel that way, I should say.
Yeah. Any creative path is kind of like walking around in the dark, sort of like with your hands out, going like, maybe this, kind of.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's but that's a whole added layer, like because artists have to be sort of self-promoting agents now.
Yeah.
It's a whole other set of skills that, not everybody has. It's not because you can go on stage and sing a song that you're comfortable selling your
Absolutely.
show on TikTok or whatever it is,
That's it too, right? Like one or two or three aspects are gonna fall short of what they should be, but that's okay because it's just like I'm not a robot, it's just too much for one person to handle, So we're all experiencing that sort of social media burnout as creatives. Like everyone I talk to says the same thing.
Every interview I've done, it's been brought up.
See?
Like every single one is like, I don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. Do you ever get caught up in stats, like how many streams and how many likes, and like how do you handle all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd all be lying as artists if we didn't let those sort of arbitrary things affect us and our sense of value and worth as an artist, which is ridiculous because it honestly, who cares about
It's
that?
so real though, isn't it?
It's so real. Because I can't even tell you, like I have like a person on my team who sort of acts as like, she acts as my publicist, but she's also kind of like a almost acts as a manager as at times and stuff like that. And she's just like wanting the best for me and is reaching out to booking agencies, things like that. And like some of the feedback that she gets is just like, yeah, she's great. But her stats, like her stream, she's got to work on her streams. Just like, it feels so shitty to be at the end of that, the receiving end of that, because it's also like I am completely independent, and it's just like there are people that like are signed to majors that are literally in bed with Spotify, like they're buying those like editorial placements, and let's not kid ourselves here. That is the practice, so it's an uneven playing field. And so then you're shamed on top of it for like not having whatever that magical number is. There isn't one. Like this is not why I got into music. If you had told me this like 20 years ago, like I think I might have chosen differently for myself. Like, because the numbers things, the stats thing is just like, it's a recipe for your self-critic to just crush you.
Yeah. You kind of have two pieces to juggle. You have your internal sense of worth, but then you have the worth that people put on you through, looking at your stats and your social media. How do you balance that? How do you stay strong inwardly? How do you keep your kind of confidence with that?
I don't even know if I have an answer to that question, to be honest, because it's like one day I'm okay with it, and the next day I'm like not.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that I can't really control that. Like you know what? Like maybe to answer your question, because now the thought just came to me. Like when I was doing mentorship stuff last year or this year, last year, we would do like weekly, sometimes bi-weekly seminars, and they would have people from the industry, like, big major label reps and big industry people come and give seminars and stuff. And I remember there was this one person that they had. He was part of this like hip hop group back in the day in Toronto, but now I think he lives in Dubai or something like that. And he was just like, guys, like, I want you to remember something. The world is so much bigger than, just the Western countries. Like, North America is slowly losing its place as like a tastemaker and the world, because of social media, because there's so much more access. It's, there's so much more music out there in the world. Like, he was listing India and South Korea and Africa, like just as the up and coming hubs of music and even like taste making. And he's just like, don't get so hung up on like this westernized ideal of what success means. And it was almost like this light bulb. I remember feeling like very emotional during his seminar because I felt like he was just like speaking directly to so many doubts that I had of myself as an artist, and like, what is the benchmark of success? And he was kind of just like, the world is a big place. Like, you don't have to like even stay here. Like, there's so much opportunity. There's so much music. And instead of letting that idea drown you in like self-doubt, use that as a way to just be like, okay, there's a place for me here.
Yeah.
It might not be here. And the more I develop as an artist, the more I realize, sadly, that, Canada it's not really the place for the kind of music I'm making. And I have to make peace with that. Like, the album was distributed by a very independent label out in the UK. And that sort of opened up a lot of listenership for me. And I was like in the UK and Europe, and I was just like, oh yeah, like that. It changed the way I viewed myself as an artist, because I think I was like trying to get people to understand me here in this market, and I wasn't hitting the mark, because in Canada, it's not the place for soul music. Sadly, it exists, but it's not what drives the industry here. So yeah,
it's kind of like, I guess, any other creative. I'm thinking about authors specifically. It's like, how Stephen King used to collect his rejection slips, on a nail on the wall. Like, he would just like get a rejection slip, put it on a nail, put it on the nail,
right.
and until he had a giant pile of rejection slips. And I think it's useful to maybe think about that as musicians too. It's like, don't take the first no for an answer,
Oh my gosh.
Like, if your audience isn't here, maybe it's somewhere else.
Yeah.
What would you wish would change in order for the industry to support musicians' mental health better?
Oh gosh.
Is that even
So
possible?
much.
Yeah,
I
I know.
mean, yeah, I'm
It's
just
all
like everything, like
yeah.
it's just not, it's not a, you know, mental health is not something that is, well, I guess now it's more spoken of, but there's just so much like pressure to just keep going, like create content, like be a machine.
Mhm.
And there's not a lot of like people in the on the industry front that are like,
Are you okay?
are you okay?
Just that would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And so I feel like sometimes we need permission in a weird way to like take a break,
Yeah.
take a mental health day, you know?
A mental health year.
Yeah, or that, you know? At the time when I was in the prime of my album burnout, post-album burnout, I was doing these like seminars and these one-on-one mentorships. And I remember in one of my one-on-ones with someone that was like a part of TikTok. She was I'm pretty sure she had like a pretty high up job like TikTok for TikTok Canada. And she like I thought that the call was going to be like, okay, what are your plans? Like what's your blah 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 blah. And I was kind of low key dreading it, but I was just like, just do it because it'll be good for you. We did not talk about anything in terms of like strategy or whatever. She's just like, tell me, she just wanted to know how I was, like just doing, you know, and it was so, and I had a couple, like about three mentorship, like one-on-one mentorship calls that were like that. That were just like I basically just told them, I'm like, I'm at the end of this album rollout. I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. I'm a mom. And they were just like, it's okay. Do you know you just like put out an album and it like you're burnt out. It's fine. You're a human being. And it's almost like I needed to hear someone else from like that's not my family and friends like
Yeah.
but someone else like in a position in a music industry position tell me like, hey, it's okay, you're allowed to be human.
Mhm.
And I was just like, it like made me emotional like a few times when I had these calls, and I think I even like broke down, and I was just like, I haven't been seen in this way. You have to understand, like, thank you. You
I
know?
feel that so hard. My eyes are all welling up because I think that's such a huge problem with the industry and artists, as artists feeling like throwaway.
Yeah.
Sorry, you haven't reached the
Yeah.
goal. See ya.
Or like you've aged out.
Yeah.
Or oh, you have a kid.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're no use to us
You're no
anymore.
use to us.
Yeah.
Because we do feel that way, as it's like we're penalized for growing older. How the fuck, like that is so messed up. And as
Yeah.
women especially.
Mm.
Because I don't think men get it to that degree the way that us as women do in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that would be helpful. Just memo.
Yeah.
Memo to the industry. Please remember that we are human beings, and we are especially sensitive human beings as well,
Yes.
right?
And we are
Yeah.
human beings that, like, let's be freaking real here. These people would not have jobs if it weren't for the creative soul that is, but we're all always last on that, like, you know,
On the ladder. Yeah.
on the ladder. We're always like, we're like the reason why they have the jobs that they have. But we're not thought of as human beings. We're thought of as like fucking
product.
And it's so, it's disheartening. And we talk about it so much amongst ourselves as artists. And I'd love to see it change.
Yeah, I wonder if, because I think there's just this disconnect, and I don't know why. Like, everything would be so much easier if we were just all on the same team, kind of thing. Maybe we should have an industry retreat. Like, let's meditate together.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
No, but just let's be buds first. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know as I'm saying this, because it is also can be such a fraught relationship when it comes to money.
Yes.
So it's hard. I think everybody wants to protect themselves, and that's what makes the relationships hard. Maybe.
No, I mean, that is it in a nutshell.
Like, I don't want to get too close in case things fuck up or in case things don't turn out the way we both want. So, like, let's just keep our distance emotionally, keep it business. But at the same time, it's like artists are out here so vulnerable, putting everything they have into this. You know, it makes it a lot harder when you feel like you don't you don't have a lot of people in the industry in your corner, really. Like, it makes it hard to trust.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always like to ask my guests, if you could talk to a younger version of yourself, what would you tell them about self-doubt, the inner critic, or anything about that you've learned?
I would say that, there are no shortcuts, and that's okay. And I would say to the inner critic, it's just like, you are going to have these moments of doubt where you doubt your abilities. Always remember why you pursued this path. Like, think back to singing into a hairbrush on top of your bed and just like the joy that brought you, and how you would just sing for hours and hours and hours, and you would go through CD booklets and learn like all the lyrics and sing along, and like you were just downloading music into your being with no expectation. So create in that same way with no expectation, just from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'd say. Like, I even say this to my students, because I ended up picking up a teaching job at Centennial College, and I teach voice there, and a lot of my students are aspiring artists, independent artists, and trying to, like, how do we hack the code to this industry? And I'm like, you have to remember, like, you're gonna hear a lot of like no before you start hearing some yeses, and you cannot take it personally. It makes you grow a thick skin. It made me grow a thick skin, because I hear tons of no's, but there are some yeses, and you take the wins when you get them, like, and you just roll with it and you keep going, because you can't let the rejection crush you. Like, you just can't. Like, you have to remember why you got into music in the first place. You have to, like, remind yourself of that. And it wasn't so that you can have a million streams. Like, we didn't even know what the fuck that meant. Like, streaming is such a new thing. Like, so you have to think beyond that, like before that, like, what was the reason? And if it was like because you felt a strong compulsion and a calling on your life to make music because it makes you feel just so connected and to who you are, then that's the reason. And that should be the reason why you continue to go. And if one day you wake up and you're like, yeah, we had a good run, like, then that's okay too. Like, can't beat yourself. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, you have to listen to your intuition and your heart, and just make sure that you're looking out for your heart, but also in saying that, like, also just like you're still like, hopefully you're still just, you still keep going.
You still stay connected to the love of it in the first place. Yeah.
It's what you said about, like, our identities are so, like, intertwined.
Yeah.
Like, we don't punch in and punch out. It's like with us forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, it's hard to parse out the two. I think maybe it's helpful though to try to see yourself outside of it too as well. Like, what are my core qualities as a human being? Like, not a musician, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's something you're still learning about your relationship to music?
That I know nothing. When I think I know something, I, like, don't know it at all. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. You know, I think my life experiences and where I am has led me to just be the most sort of honest I've ever been in my writing and in the way I connect with my audience. And I'm not trying to put a lot of, like, pieces together. It's less of a puzzle, and it's more of a, I've been using this word a lot, but like an experimentation. So yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question.
It does. Like, you're a perpetual student.
Yeah, a student for life.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know, like, I don't know. I think we can get really stuck in the things we do know, or that we're comfortable in musically, that we sort of restrict ourselves from experimenting. Or, you know, I think with this new stuff that I'm writing, I was telling Scott, I'm like, I want a pedal steel. Like, I want some twangy ass guitar on here, and, like, just, like, bringing worlds of sounds into and creating something that is just kind of like who I am. Because I was also inspired by a lot of different sounds and music genres growing up. So, and I think that's why it's hard to sort of categorize my sound. Like, it is very heavily, like, soulful, and, like, but there's a lot of other elements in there that, and so maybe on a music business side of things, they're like, we don't know what to do with her.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That would be a typical response to a lot of artists.
Yeah. We're so boxed in, or we're expected to be, like, neatly placed.
Exactly. And that conflicts so hard with being creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So amen to that. Keep it open. Stay connected to the essence. And I think that's the whole idea, right?
Yes, 100%.
Love it. Thank you so much for talking with us and for sharing your heart. It's been a really great conversation.
Thanks for having me on. Like, it was so nice to just, like, relate to someone creative and just talk about this stuff, because it's just so prominent and it's not talked about.
Yeah, I feel like I could talk about this
forever.
Forever.
Me too.
That's it for today's episode of Sour Notes. Huge thanks to Aphrose for sharing with us. You'll find all links to our guests in the show notes. If this episode resonated with you, you can follow us on Instagram at SourNotesPod. And don't forget to leave a review. It helps more musicians find the show. See you next time. Sour Notes is a Flipped Canoe production, editing by me, Roxanne Putwick.